Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Conversations. I'm Yemisi Imasi. The journalist, the world over, is known as a gatekeeper, one who is a member of the fourth estate of the realm. That is, one who's having the public trust to give information unbiased at any time, anywhere, all over the world. But of course, the journalist has found him or herself in a lot of funny situations that tend to portray him or her as a corrupt personality. The society actually, depicts who the journalist turns out to be. To a large extent, some of these accusations against the journalist have turned out to be false, and a lot of times having too much hype, as it were. But today we're going to be looking at all the issues. Why is the journalist being hounded by the society? Is the journalist in Nigeria not doing his job? Is he not capable? Is he not pulling his weight? Is he not playing the role as the gatekeeper? Those are the issues we're looking at on Conversations this week. I'm Yemisi Imasi, welcoming you to the show, and I have a renowned guest with me, someone who is capable to talk about this subject. He is the editor of the Sunday Nation, the Nation newspaper, the Sunday edition of it, and he's a journalist with a good track record, who has paid his dues in the industry, and I think he's well qualified to discuss this issue. Please make welcome Lekan Otunfodunrin. Lekan, good welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here. I'm always surprised when we isolate journalists' corrupt practices against the background of the country where we live. I think the starting point is to say that Nigeria has been said to be one of the most corrupt countries. And so if Nigeria is one of the most corrupt countries, you know that the people who live there are supposed to be corrupt. That's why they said it's a corrupt country. And so if journalists are corrupt, it should not be a surprise. But the truth is that it is not only about journalism, it's about the society.
At large. At
large. So the corruption is endemic to the extent that it has eaten deep to everybody. So
everyone is culpable.
We are all on the take, so to say, to the extent that you have corrupt lawyers, you have corrupt engineers, you have corrupt doctors, policemen. So the solution, we should be finding a solution to our corruption, not to be isolating. Trying to isolate will not solve the problem, because as long as we keep saying the journalist is corrupt and the doctor is corrupt, nobody's talking about it, we won't get to the solution.
Now, you mentioned an issue about content. When people have an assignment or they have a particular news item that they want to publicize, there are certain categories of news that don't need any, they make news anyway.
Yes.
We need the content anyway.
Yes, we need. That is where even the public needs to understand how the media works. Most of the time, they don't understand. They even assume that everything needs to be paid for. And so they easily get hoodwinked by those who are corrupt. Even where the station or the management is not aware, some people down the line, they exploit the people. So it's important that people, and one caution is that people should not ask for coverage that they don't deserve. Okay. Sometimes somebody whose news is not more than maybe a 1 second somewhere wants it to be the major bulletin and says, I'm ready to pay for it. Even some corporate organizations pay for some of these things. And of course, the media organizations take it because they need the money to survive. I mean, there was a time in this country where news was news. But these days, news are paid for.
Oh, it's gone commercial.
It's become official. It's even official. So when news is paid for officially, the individual starts helping themselves. So I'm saying that it is important that people know how the media works. For example, what you're supposed to pay for in a newspaper or a magazine is the advertisement. When you want to have an advert that you dictate the content. But if it's news,
focusing on your product or service,
and you want it said in a particular way, you need to pay for that. And you even dictate the space, whether it's a full page, it's half page. But if it's news that you want them to assess against the normal judgment of what should be news, then you leave it to that judgment. If it doesn't qualify as news, so be it.
There are fake journalists.
Definitely. Of course. In Abuja, they have...
And they constitute...
a large chunk. They have an association. They have a chairman. When you go to big events, for instance, you see somebody will come. There's somebody come, I report for Daily Mail, and you're wondering.
National Eye.
Daily Mail is supposed to be in the UK. There's no Daily Mail in Nigeria. They mention all kinds of names. And before you know it, they have their guys. Yes. And those kind of people will come to you and say they're journalists. Yes. You see people who...
They even have ID cards.
The TV cameras are even... because of the TV, people want to be on camera. If you're not a dumb person, how will somebody say, bring money, I will show you on TV? Saying what? I need to do a vox pop. The president is dead. I go to Wuse Market in Abuja, and I'm supposed to feel the pulse of the people in reaction to the president's death. And the first person I talk to, I tell you, okay, give me 5,000 naira. I will show you on TV talking about the president. If you are intelligent, you should know that that is a misnomer. You know, so it also has to do with the level of I won't say intelligence, of how much people know, yes, about how the media works. As
I think every citizen is equally, greedy.
The politicians make everything look glamorous. They're
gullible.
You understand? So everybody too wants to be like them, you know. And they see that, with due respect, most of our politicians are very shallow. They don't have personal philosophies that they hold on to. And if you don't have a personal philosophy, you don't have a personal belief system that you trust in, how would you contribute to the national dialogue? So when they see people with this power, the only difference between us and them and me is that they have cars, they steal money and all that. Journalism is not Jankara market like some people think. There are some people who think if you know English is just like, the tool that you use to make an art. Journalism is an art. You have to learn the 5 W's and H. If I read your intro, can I get it there? Are you saying anything to me? It's not essay writing.
Sure.
People think journalism is like, it is not essay writing, it's different. So there's an issue of training. People need to be properly trained. And there's this shortcut syndrome. People think they can just do anything. You graduate from school, you say a graduate cannot even write a memo, I want to go on leave. And you want to work. I went to a polytechnic. By the time I had finished my HND, I had almost 2.5 years of work experience. I'd worked in film and television. I'd worked in journalism. So I had experience even as I was going through school.
I remember interviewing some folks that had a degree in mass communication, and they couldn't write a script. And that was a degree.
Yes,
that backs up what we're talking about, training.
That one, it's the educational problem.
2 minutes.
That's an education. But my solution, she's talking about the salary, which is very clear, and training. I also think that there is need for this awareness of why journalism, media is important. Understanding on the part of the public and those of us who are working there. Somebody told me, said, journalism is a necessary profession.
It is.
Necessary in the sense that without good journalism, and that's why an American president was said, if he was asked to choose between having a free press and whatever, he would choose the free press. It's so important because take away the journalists, who is going to hold the people? The amount of the little monitoring that we have now is because media is even trying within the limited resources. So it's important that, and the public also needs to speak up sometimes on behalf of the journalists, where journalists cannot. If they meet people who own these things, they must ask questions.
On Conversations this week, we focused on the journalists and corrupt practices. And we've agreed here, as we've seen all the issues, all the sides have been taken, that the journalist is not actually really culpable as the society tends to make us believe. The journalist has been constrained by so many reasons. And of course, whatever journalist you find out there is basically a product of the society in which he or she operates. And of course, the owners of the media platforms, print, broadcast, they need some new orientation. I think the enforcing or regulatory agencies have a lot to do to ensure this profession, a noble profession at that, it's not an all-comers affair. And training is very key, because we don't want people who come in and they can't write a script, they can't speak correct English, and they turn out to be a journalist or whatever. But of course, there's light at the end of the tunnel. Things can actually get better. When people get paid, they can think, they can do intellectual work. Journalism is an intellectual work. It's not something you just, do by the side. It's a noble profession, and I'm proud to be one. Thank you so much for being part of this show. Thank you very much, Lekon, the editor of Sunday Nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And of course, Ade, sweetie, the editor of Love World Plus. Thank you so much for being here. We're going to do a part 2 of this, because I know there are going to be, comments from you. We'll read that, and we'll know what else to tackle the next time. Thank you. Keep a date with us next week on Conversations. I'm Yemisi Imasi. Bye.